What's going on, everybody? This is Fandom Empire and the two of the three co-hosts of the Star Wars Wastelands broadcast. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi night. That's right. It does not premiere in 3 hours and 12 minutes. It premieres in 12 minutes. So we'll probably spend the next 15 or 20 or so on here doing this preview. And then what we're going to do is after episode 1 is over, instead of watching episode 2, Johnny and myself are going to show some willpower, believe it or not. And I'm actually, out of anybody in the world, I'm more curious to hear what you think about this series, knowing how you feel about the original trilogy and how polar opposite you feel about the prequel trilogy. So I'm curious to see where it's going to fall for you. It might be the perfect mix. But what we're going to do is we're going to be back, and we're going to do a giveaway tonight, by the way. Each review that we do, we're doing a review of episode 1, and we're going to be doing that immediately after we're done watching it. So we're only going to watch one episode. We'll be back around 1 a.m. I don't know what the runtime is. I'm guessing it's around 45 minutes. I'm hoping for an hour, but I'm thinking it's 45 minutes. So we'll be back then, and yeah, we'll be live for probably 45 minutes talking about the episode. We'll go back, watch episode 2, and then we'll be back again. Johnny, outside of, Disney bullshit, I mean, we're all happy that we get to see it early, but when you plan your, basically 2 combined days around this event and you get no notice on it switching, it messes you up. Otherwise, how excited are you going into this, man? In terms of, we've had a lot of Star Wars projects release in the Disney air. You're looking at the sequel trilogy, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, Mando Season 1 and 2, Book of Boba Fett, which I don't think you've seen yet. And then there's the animated stuff. We got Clone Wars Season 7, which was obviously pretty special. There's been Star Wars Rebels in that time. Where does this rank for you on your excitement level for a Star Wars project? Not including anything you might have seen today, but everything else that's been released. For me, it's number 1, even more than The Force Awakens, although The Force Awakens is a close second.
I mean, I think this is it's a different animal altogether for me. I mean, The Force Awakens was special because it was, to a certain degree, the unexpected. We'd never, until it happened, we never thought we'd see it. There's a reason why the story goes that, when I told you called me a bald-faced liar and, suggested some inappropriate things. But,
I remember
nobody expected it.
I remember where I was, who I was beside.
Yeah.
And then throwing my, NHL, I guess it would have been 11 disc across the room in excitement that, oh my God, we were getting more Star Wars. And then I realized, oh, I just threw my NHL.
Probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, probably not one of my better takes. By the way, our friend Zach is here, and I don't want to say what, because I don't know if he wants personal information revealed on here, but I'm just going to say that his family's going through a tough time right now, and we are thinking about him. So our thoughts are with you, sir. Talking Star Wars is here. They want to keep their expectations low. I know most people will be watching after the fact. I think you got other channels live right now that jumped on this quicker than we did. Although I'm confident in saying we will be back live before them, unless you're watching them watch it. But I'm going to be honest. I'm not a watch party guy. If I'm going to watch something with people, I'd rather it either be off air, if I haven't seen it yet, by myself, or with a group of people where we're not talking over it all the time. It's one thing if you and I watch Revenge of the Sith and we want to talk over it, but I don't want to hear fucking Star Wars theory talking over the whole fucking episode. Hey, to the fucking 3 million of you that want to do that, kudos, but that's not me.
I mean, first viewing, I definitely don't want to do that. I mean, that'd be like watching, movie for the first time with the audio commentary track on. Okay, I mean, the right kind of movie, sure, that's a fun experience. But, for something I actually, for something I want to hear the dialogue of, obviously, I want to hear the dialogue, and that's not, not something that's achievable listening to the audio track on night one.
Apollo says weird looking beards. I don't really have one. I got a bit of a goatee going right now.
This is called just rolled out of bed beard.
Yeah, I literally had to wake him up. So, I mean, that's what happens. We got no notice. So we're going to stay live here for probably another 10 or 15 minutes doing this because, well, we don't want the stream to be too short. But if you haven't yet, check us out on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Phantom Empire Now. And if you want to support us on Patreon or become a channel member, you can do that as well. Lots of content over there, not just Halloween, but Star Wars. We put out, I can't remember what the fuck we put out. We've put out so much this week. There's lots of content. Go find it on the channel and lots more coming. I know Mike Bish just put out a Stranger Things Season 4 preview. That I do know. But anything else, I can't really remember. It's all, just sort of combining together. Now, in the interest of being completely transparent with the audience, we have openly talked about the leaks on our shows. So we know quite a bit of the big stuff that's going to happen in this show. But we're missing a lot of context, almost all the dialogue. My question for you, man, is where do you set your expectation level? What does this show need to do for you to be satisfied with it?
I mean,
just the prequels.
No, for me, if you've listened to any of the stuff we've produced for a long time, story is key for me. Everything else is sort of secondary to a good story, and that's what this just needs to do. It needs to tell a compelling story, over each of these, episodes that makes me, smile and nod and be happy with this story because I want to say growing up, but early in my Star Wars fandom, I was firmly in the camp of he can never leave Tatooine. It makes something would have to be astronomically bad for him to actually leave that dust bowl. And
let me interject here just for a second. Obviously, everybody now knows he leaves. The trailer shows that he leaves.
Yeah, you can clearly tell that those
the trailer
places aren't Tatooine.
Once alluded to why he leaves. You
Correct.
And I know why.
Correct.
And to me, the reason makes sense without getting into it right now because people are about to see it.
I mean, even knowing the reason, like it's one of those on paper, yeah, it's a good reason, but let's execute that now, and now we got to execute on what we know to be the reason, and if you've followed the leaks and spoilers, you know the reason as well. But if you're going into this pure as the driven snow, then you have no idea what the heck we're talking about, and all the power to you because. Quite frankly, I love that experience.
Our friend Zach says Halloween Ends is my most anticipated movie release this year, not mine, sir. But Kenobi is my overall most anticipated release of 2022. No contest. That, sir, I would have agreed with you about 12 hours ago. Now I'm not so sure. But more on that later. A certain trailer was released today, and I think it's a cross between Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and Hunger Games. It just looks so good. But yeah, another time for that.
I mean, I guess my most anticipated movie I saw 3 weeks ago, so I don't know.
Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
I almost saw it on Tuesday. I was in Toronto. Didn't happen. Was trying to kill time, and let's just say Toronto parking sucks.
Oh, crap. Wait, hold on. They have parking in the city?
Right. This is true. Very true. Okay, so I know you don't know all the spoilers, so I'm going to try to avoid some spoiler questions that you know of anyway. And you can't really ask me other than, like, you could ask me what I think the runtime is going to be, and I'm going to still say 45 minutes. That might be too much, to be honest. I know you and even recently keeps calling it a 6-hour series. I'll believe they put out 6 1-hour episodes when I see it. They haven't shown the ability to do that yet.
It's an early drop.
It's already out?
Yep. 56 minutes for part 1, 42 minutes for part 2.
Oh, I can live with the part 1 runtime, the part 2 runtime, though. Eesh.
I mean, I think it sort of makes sense on a sliding scale.
I
With
guess
each
mathematically, it almost works out to be 45 minutes an episode. Slightly
roughly, yeah. So I mean, it makes sense to me that I think
45
the later episodes are going to have longer run times. So the earlier episodes, first episode obviously long, then probably 2, 3 shorter, and then 4, 5, 6 you get back to.
By the
Progressively
way,
longer.
anybody who's listening to this right now, which I imagine is only people who don't have Disney Plus, watch the credits of episode 2.
Yep.
Watch the credits. Do not skip them. It's possible they've repositioned it and you won't even have to watch the credits.
I mean, it's Disney Plus, so if you've watched any like Marvel movies or anything recently, Disney Plus has added sort of a skip credits button if there's something else that comes as far as content. So I don't know if this will have it because it's literally a fresh drop, but like Marvel movies and stuff where you have the post credit scenes, they have the skip credits button, basically the same as your skip intro button on TV shows with intro sequences.
No, absolutely. Let's go over some of these questions. I think it makes sense for me to ask you. Over or under? Sorry, not over or under. I'm confusing myself. This isn't like just episode 1 questions either. This is just the series.
Okay.
Will Vader actually listen to Kenobi at any point because Ewan's already revealed that he's going to do the line from Return of the Jedi when Vader says to Luke, Obi-Wan once thought as you didn't trying to turn him back. My question, does Vader give it any thought or does he just keep charging trying to kill him?
I think in the moment he's going to just keep hammer fist, trying to achieve his goals. But I think the moment's going to resonate and he's going to reflect on it because, I mean, obviously he knows enough to know that, he has kids by the time we get around to Empire, which is something he didn't know before that. So, he sort of learns that somewhere in between. This makes sense for him to sort of figure that out or start putting those pieces together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yoda appears in this series, or like in any way, audio, flashback, new scene.
Well, in any way, then I'd say probably. I think there's a good chance we see a holocron of some kind, or something of that effect. Not the actual Yoda, but Yoda in either holocron or communication form.
I was going to ask you about the Emperor, but Mr. Ian McCrimmid, inside joke for those that have been following us for a really long time. Mr. Ian McDiarmid already revealed that today. I won't say what the answer is, but it's already known publicly. So, yes or no, Obi-Wan Kenobi will ignite his lightsaber in the first 2 episodes. Remember, this isn't just the prequels. He can't just fucking whip the thing out, right? So he's literally the most wanted man in the galaxy.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. Because I think the first time we see Obi-Wan with the lightsaber is going to be one of those moments we build to. And I mean, I guess if we sort of preface, but I don't say preface, but if we sort of stipulate that it's in the present, then I don't think it's in the first few episodes. But I think we'll see, a flashback of some kind, or some previous footage from the prequel trilogy with Obi-Wan in combat prior to that. So we'll see the ignited blade, but not in the present.
Padme cameo in any way, and I don't count mention as cameo. Obviously, we know this is a character piece. Deborah Chow has gone, regardless of what anybody thinks of these movies, she's gone as far as to compare this series to the likes of Logan or the Joker. Obviously not as mature as those movies, but that's a lot to chew off in terms of quality. What do you think?
I mean, I'd say I wouldn't be surprised if it were to happen. I mean, I'd be excited by it because it's not something we know about, or it's something that I know about anyway. Um, so I would be excited by it, but I don't think we're gonna see Natalie Portman in this. That's just, I think, too big a get. But I wouldn't be too surprised if we don't see, one of the handmaidens or something like that. Sort of alluding to, like, I can't remember which was it. Was a comic series or a book?
Yeah.
That which is in Legends, where he learns about Luke and Leia, I think.
Well, no, there's an actual like canon comic series now where he meets up with one of Padme's handmaidens, and they almost like go on this mission together, and it's this whole thing. And so, but yeah, no, there's some potential there. There's an obvious cameo that I'm not going to ask you because I think everybody should know the answer to already. But those that don't, we'll leave it a secret. Just final thoughts, man. Obviously, we didn't get to do nearly as much here on a preview show as we wanted to. But what's your hopes here? Final thoughts going into the episode.
I mean, I'm excited for it. We've waited a very long time for us. This is a culmination of basically our entire podcasting career has been, Obi-Wan Kenobi movie series and now TV series has sort of been in the shadows of everything we've ever done. Going back to the very first episode we ever recorded back in 2015. Yep. So it's always been something we've talked about, and I'm excited to finally see it. Like, this is as much a big deal for me as it is for obviously you and everybody else who's put this thing together. That we've been talking about this and building towards this moment for the last 7 years. So it's exciting to finally see this come to fruition, and have the TV series, which TV has been something that they've been very good at in the Disney era, which allows me to be more. They've been better at it than the movies. I'll say that.
I was there, and then the Book of Boba Fett came out, and I just
that one's just a victim of titling. I mean, let's be honest. It's The Mandalorian 2.5, and calling it anything other than that is just.
The problem is the Book of Boba Fett episodes, like about Boba Fett, just are not that good. So.
Well, that's the point, though. When you take a character who's, what? That's entirely different conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have some time, maybe even in the review portion of this, if we get through the episode. But Obi-Wan Kenobi, I remember a podcast in 2016 had a small podcast who got a scoop that there was an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie trilogy in the works at one point, directed by Stephen Daldry. And Ewan with heavy say as a producer. That didn't come to pass, but now here we are with a 6-part limited series, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's here. Let's dig in. We all have the high ground. We'll see you in about an hour. May the Force be with you.